Hi, everybody, and a happy Wednesday to everybody who's joining us. I see there is quite a few coming up on the chat here. And welcome to USN Travel Talk this week. And today I am happy enough to have Andreas from Indonesia sitting in Bali, which is nice weather, with a cuckoo nest in the background. And today,
I think we lost you maybe for a moment.
Hello, let's see. Can you hear me?
For a moment, Christine.
Yeah. Not here. Can.
Christine, do you want to try it again?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, good. So hopefully everybody else. And let's start again. And we say welcome again and happy Wednesday, everybody. And to this USN Travel Talk this week. And today I have Andreas with me. Andreas is from Destination Asia in Indonesia. He's the general manager, for those ones who haven't heard him before. And he will give us a little bit of an update on, how Indonesia and especially Bali, very, popular destination in Scandinavia, or in the Nordic countries anyway, and how actually Bali and Indonesia are today, and a bit of update on what product has also emerged through the pandemic, because we see people are looking maybe for different kind of experiences than before the pandemic. So I'll just leave it a little bit over to you, Andreas, and I will ask questions. And for everybody who's on, I can hear they're all hearing me. So please let me know if you have any questions, ask them in the chat. I will ask to Andreas as well accordingly when he goes, and just interrupt us during the course. We will aim to do it for 30 minutes, so it doesn't take too much time off your day as well. So welcome, Andreas.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christine, for the nice warm welcome and the introduction. Many greetings from an afternoon in Bali. We're a bit ahead, of course, on the time. And with further ado, I'm just maybe jumping into the presentation. Just quickly about me. I'm 7 years now in Bali already, and managing Destination Asia here as an inbound DMC. And we have also from Scandinavia quite a good amount of nice customers that we are able to take care here under the normal conditions. And I hope you can see the first slide quickly with our Destination Asia logo.
No, here you go. You have to start, darling. There.
Yep, that's what I tried to do. Okay. Then we'll have that now. Then I can see that now as well. Perfect. Destination Asia, as you might be aware to some extent already, we are in 11 countries in Asia. Quickly, just to give an overview, all the green area at the bottom, that is Indonesia, a country that is basically as large as the USA in size. West to east is similar to LA to New York, and north-south is about Canadian border to Mexican border. But we have, of course, much more water, less land mass. In total, in Destination Asia, in the 11 countries, we got 29 own offices, and we manage not only leisure travelers, which is, of course, the majority of our business, but we do also handle incentive groups and corporate business, as well as are we quite a leading DMC in Asia to manage shore excursions for cruise vessels in the waters of Asia. And to give you a bit of an overview about the COVID-19 situation in Indonesia, we have basically started right away, end of February, beginning March last year already, setting up new hygiene guidelines, and that also particular for the office first, but then developing also through the time service adaptations right away to guides and drivers while we still had guests coming into the country. And these has been by now further rolled out into proper post-COVID travel SOPs and procedures, as well as through a cooperation that we have founded here a few years back with other DMCs, also all to our suppliers and partners in the destination that we work with. Our office and staff, we have closed the office right away for visitors, and have started with staff screening. Mask wearing and so on is mandatory, but actually we are now close to a year working from home. We went a whole team of 100 staff to work on laptops from home by the 22nd of March, and that hasn't changed yet because we consider it still a safest way, and the other effort is as well that it works very well for us. The team is very handy with the online tools. We have files all on cloud and accessible, and it's been working for us quite well so far. Just quickly to highlight what I said, we have post-COVID-19 information and procedures in place. These are available also online on a page of Destination Asia for all the 11 countries. And I can show you quickly here, that is the deck cover. And then it goes basically through to the handling of arrivals, tours in the destination, but also highlights what hotels are having in place on measurements, and public transportation, airports. All these elements are explained there in detail. And Christine definitely can give you the link for the countries if you want to review these.
Absolutely.
Prepared for travel to return. We started that actually quite early in March and April, and have continued to work on that. And as you all know, it's been dragging now for a long time. But it might be quite nice to look at it. It has really not changed much. The travel that returned already is, of course, domestic travel. What is not there yet because borders are still closed, or how we say, there are no tourist visas at the moment in place. That's the regional markets. From the international long-haul market, we would expect affluent travelers first to come, who have the certain budgets to also be able to isolate them better in villas or do cruises by private yacht charter. But then, of course, young adventurers who feel healthy and keen to travel in general. We went through the process last year to adapted our products. So we basically reviewed all our product. We for example, enhanced our villa portfolio to 80 villas on the island of Bali that we are able to easily offer in different kind of budget and quality categories. We have looked into programs that are away from the masses, and I will introduce two later. Boutique hotels is something that we understand will be more of an interest, secluded locations, but also, of course, worked with suppliers very much on flexible terms. You may have seen that already. Destination Asia has at the moment cancellation option due to COVID from 72 hours, free of charge and so on, which we have worked out with partners. And then general the service adaptations of the new guidelines I mentioned before, enhancements of health and safety and new SOPs. That is all kind of worked out and already in place. And we'll basically all hope, I guess, that the customers can travel soon again and that we will be able to welcome guests here. As a little highlight, maybe, cases in Indonesia have been further continuing, of course, and they also spiked a little bit more in the beginning of January due to a lot of domestic travel in between the regions over the Christmas and New Year holidays. We are unfortunately now at a level of about close to 1.1 million infections, positive cases, but about 900,000 of them have recovered. But we have unfortunately about a bit over 30,000 deaths. In Bali, the numbers are in the range of, in the past weeks, more between 250 to 300 new infections a day. Last week we had a few days where it was over 300, but it has come down kind of again. From a tourism ministry perspective and promotional element also within the government, Bali is definitely going to be the destination that they want to be able to open first and have ready. And it is in case so that hotels have adapted by now and been most of them being certified in regards of having the right protocols in place.
Can I just ask you, Andreas?
Yeah.
So, like you said, 250 to 300 cases a day. We have to, of course, do the comparison. How many people live in Bali again?
It's about close to 4 million.
Exactly. So we're looking at a population a little bit lower than Denmark or around Denmark and Norway. And you're looking at 250 to 300 cases, which you are actually lower than most actually of the Scandinavian countries, I think. I think Norway is lower.
That's correct. Yeah.
Exactly. So we just need to look at the perspective on how many and, cases as well.
Yeah, but it's still considered, we want to be honest and fair, but it's not ideal. But the 1.1 million I mentioned before already, that's basically in comparison to a country with 270 citizens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's good. But you feel like you've been in Bali, of course, the whole time. And like you said, have you had domestic visitors into Bali from other places in Indonesia or
Yes, definitely. There's been a lot of travel, particular in the period of July and August, when Bali opened the first time back for domestic tourism. It was basically closed since March. And then again, as I just said, December, beginning January.
Okay, good. Do you have any perspectives on when they're looking at maybe opening the borders, or can we have a wild guess or something?
The perspective is a little bit difficult, and it's a good question you ask, and I maybe forgot to mention that at the moment, the government has basically beginning January closed the borders for all foreigners. So that's a step more than just taking off the tourist visas. And that was as a reaction to the mutations reported out of the UK and South Africa. And that is now being extended until the 8th of February. What it means effectively is that only one that can enter Indonesia are Indonesians or foreigners with valid stay permits, or if there's a real business need and it's by documents kind of authorized by the government. Otherwise, it's unfortunately not able. If you let me go, then I'll just start a little video that we have here with a couple of impressions for Indonesia, just to kind of warm up. I will be maybe able to say a couple of notes. I hope that plays now.
No, it doesn't.
It does not.
No. There he goes.
There, see? I'm learning this as well. Now we got it, right? So that's impressions from Sanur Beach in the morning. And now you will see images from the rice fields here around Ubud that we, of course, include in visits. Same as we can have traditional dance shows. Most of them are all now with new protocols in place. This is one of the famous temples down in the south. Very nice to visit before sunset. Or in Java with the Hindu temples of Prambanan, or the largest Buddhist temple in the world, the Borobudur temple. Visits to traditional villages are, of course, also included. And we always try, like here with the quiz maker, to find spots that are not so common to visit, to interrupt the tours a bit over the day. The orangutans are best to be visited in Kalimantan, where we do that normally by river cruise on a private boat with air-conditioned cabins. Or we have, of course, larger cruise vessels calling port at various areas in Indonesia. So, stop the video and then I have to go back to the slides. Sorry. It starts the presentation for me again, no? Sorry, there we are in a second. I think it's just rolling up.
Sorry. Can you see it? Oh, no, we are back.
No, I think I need your help. It doesn't come from my side. So, Bali highlights quickly to tell you a little bit. We have, of course, mountains as well as sandy beaches. With that comes lakes, waterfalls on the nature side. The rice paddies that you've seen before, monkey forests that we 3 on the island. And the most famous one is in Ubud. Many have maybe heard of it. Sneaky monkeys. We had recently, I think, a whole article in The Economist about these monkeys. And temples, palaces as well that you can visit, and our guides guide you through. It's unique in culture and customs, but we also have, of course, with all the water and the sea around, a unique underwater world, which invites for snorkeling and diving. Adventure activities that we offer go from rafting, canyoning, over cycling tours, of course. We have also a special tour on the lava fields of Mount Batur with fat bikes. We trying to do special programs that, of course, involve as well handicrafts and artistic creation or arts. And it is a very nice island that you can have, like in Seminyak, for example, the nice nightlife, modern hotel facilities, but then you wander out into the traditional villages over the day and have these nicely united or unified in one thing.
Can I, before you start going on to that, if I just going to be a little bit on, a travel agent side. So if you, of course, I will think a lot of people have been to Bali, or a lot of guests or consumers. So we got travel agents on the board here, or people who promote Bali, of course, Indonesia. And I was just thinking, like, of course, we have the first comers, which will probably do the, what will you recommend if you have a first visitor after pandemic? What would you recommend maybe for them to do if they got 10 days? Give me just like short 3 or 4 things you like them to do. Happy
to do so. When you say after the pandemic, then but generally a visit.
Because I'm thinking why I'm saying after pandemic is because if you have a first comer to Bali after the pandemic, they might be a little bit precautious. They're traveling a long way. This is the first time maybe they're going that far away, but they heard that Bali is fairly safe, or they've been promoted, So you're thinking, what would you promote to some, or what would you kind of recommend for someone like that to do? Or to stay?
Well, I would probably recommend to stay for a few nights in Ubud, which is in the center of the island, and it's the artistic hub. Nice to explore, and from there also it's easy to do all these activities and visits to temples and palaces, and then probably suggest to find one of the many resorts that are there that have small villa accommodations. So you will have your own kind of private villa in there, where you can also more freely spend a certain amount of time and just enjoy the scenery and beauty, and of course the warmer climate here. And then venture out under the certain protocols. As I said, we have them in place with our guides and drivers and vehicles cleaned up and so on, and explore some of the sites or do some activities. And then from there to move down to one of the beach sites, which are very different between Nusa Dua, Sanur, or Seminyak, even Jimbaran. So there is a lot of variety in what customers may want to focus on. And you have, as you hear, for example, Bali is a lot of outdoors, so I'm sitting outdoors as well. And that's how the houses are built here. So sorry about that. Spent then a few days at the beachside, where you maybe can still do a little trip away or so, but also there are resorts with villa accommodations, or maybe you find a villa that is alone standing with the proper butler service and possible breakfast or even more meal services, depending on what is wished. That's what I would do as a starter. And if you come for a second time or longer, then probably Bali would be at the moment, I think, also the first spot to consider to visit Indonesia, and may explore some more into the west or into the east, where we have programs with proper nice resorts, smaller resorts, where we also know that customers are well taken care of, and the individual kind of or individuality and secludedness can be ensured, and may revisit a couple of things like Ubud or the beachside.
Yeah. Okay, that was just a little bit so we get going in terms of what will be, also post-pandemic in terms of maybe accommodation. So even the private villas will be in different price categories. So you will have it in kind of a medium, but also high end, depending on what kind of service you added to it. Yeah,
correct. The Beyond Bali is something that is giving great opportunities to be more secluded and to explore areas that are less known but intriguing. and you're probably traveling at most of the times by yourself. And that's, I think, particularly something that we in Indonesia can perfectly offer with an easy flight to Sumba, for example. It's a 1-hour flight out of Bali. We have there nice programs that explore East Sumba with these landscapes, as you see on the pictures, or traditional villages. There is unique mangrove beaches. So it's a nice combination: beach, water, scenery, local traditional villages. And we have, there are also nice boutique resorts where we can accommodate our customers safely in. And then move on to the West Sumba, which is a bit more rough on the coastal area, and has a more tropical kind of climate. So it's a bit more greener with waterfalls, but also has a rich culture. And Sumba is also famous for the Nihiwatu resort, the Nihi resort, and lately opened the Lelewatu, two top-end 5-star kind of beachside resorts where guests could easily extend. And they have all their private villas. Basically, you wouldn't be in a bigger
resort
complex. Yeah.
Okay, exactly. How far is it to fly from Bali to Sumba?
1 hour.
1 hour, okay. Yeah. And flights every day, or?
Flights are every day, yeah. So you can fly to East Sumba, to Waingapu, and then travel basically through Sumba, and you can fly back from West Sumba, from Tambulaka to Bali. So you can basically split that and don't need to travel too much forth and back. Okay.
And the resorts, I know you had a few of the resorts on there, because we talked about Sumba before. I know that's one of your favorites as well. So, but it is kind of like, how big are the resorts? How many villas or how many rooms are they in?
The Nihiwatu, I think, is somewhere 20 plus villas, and the Lelewatu is, I think, also just around that area. So it's not too many. Yeah.
No,
but
not too many.
Some of the villas are quite large, so it depends a little bit on the price point.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
And these resorts normally come with kind of full board and all service included, as there is not much around it, right?
Exactly, yeah.
A very other resort or island, which is the southernmost island of Southeast Asia, and it's just about 500 miles north of Darwin, but belongs to Indonesia, is Pulau Rote, which can be reached over about a 1.5 hours flight to Kupang, and then you have to wait there a bit and take a small 20 minutes flight connecting to Pulau Rote. It's a bit of a hideaway island. It's kind of known between surfers for many years already, but we discovered it a little bit also to consider for families or couples who want to, be away from everything and just chill out in beautiful scenery. You see the sunsets there and the beaches. And our program is including then cruising to other islands, snorkeling, fishing, mangrove kayaking, as well as some surfing intros if wished. And we are the only DMC who's offering that at the moment. And so if somebody wants to come longer, flying all the long haul from Scandinavia over to Bali, then you can do a couple of nights in Bali, maybe in Ubud and so on, and may consider to jump onto one of these islands, come back, have a couple more nights at the beach in Bali, and then take your international flight home.
Okay. So you said it's approximately an hour flight and then a shorter flight afterwards. You need to wait.
Yeah, so the travel total would be to Pulau Rote probably about 3.5, 4 hours.
Is that on, is there flights every day, or is it?
Kupang, it's a little bit difficult for me to tell you. Normally it's every day, but at the moment since March, every flight schedule are a bit different. Sumba is on every day. That's what I know. Yeah.
Okay, but normally in a normal situation, or when maybe then tourists get back, of course, because probably maybe people are seeking out a little bit out of the normal way, I think, as well. But like we can see that people have taking longer holidays as well, and maybe extend their stay a little bit.
Yes, and I think that's what we're all a bit assuming might happening. Yeah. From here, there is one extension that is a bit more known, and I'm gonna change now to a little video. That's the Komodo National Park, which is about 90 minutes flight from Bali. And you can stay there either on Lent and do a day trip into the park to see the famous Komodo dragons. Or what we really like to offer and sell a lot is to take a private little yacht with a cabin on board, AC, local food, and your private guide. And then you're basically exploring the national park for 2 nights or maybe 3 nights. You anchor in front of one of the islands. You have beautiful sunsets and sunrises. You will see that in the video. Yeah. So on the islands of Rincha and Komodo are treks that you explore with a ranger. And if you get lucky, you will see the dragons. But in generally, there's always a sighting of one of them. This would be, for example, such a boat that you can rent privately for you. Yeah, so there are reefs that extend for up to a kilometer, and it's a fantastic opportunity for snorkeling and diving as well. I think you've been muted, Christine?
I was muted.
Yeah.
I said, of course, I've been to Bali quite a few times. I actually stayed there for like 3-4 months on the students when Jimbaran was a desolate little beach with hardly anything in. I was there. But I just asked people on the chat if anyone has been to Komodo, because that's one of my kind of favorite, what I want to do after pandemic, and try to get there as well.
I think you should. It's definitely... Yeah. It's one of my favorite places, particularly on a boat for a couple of nights to just chill out and relax. Yeah. You don't have phone reception everywhere in the park, so it's sometimes also nice to be just away from it. But good to mention is probably that the water there, even though it has a lot of current because you have the South China Sea going twice a day through it, it is among or between the islands, very, how you say, it's not very wavy. There's not much waves, so even sleeping on the board is not
a problem.
No.
So it's nice. I'll just continue on there, but yeah, it's definitely definitely one of my highlights, which I, there's always something you have to tick off, and that one I haven't ticked off yet.
No, that was actually my last kind of impressions for that presentation. Staying that half an hour, so happy to answer any questions.
Been very good. Let's see if anyone is coming up with, but they're saying no, but would love to. It's someone saying over here. So, like I said, I think also if you just talk a little bit around what may be coming up of people, consumers looking for, and I think that's also good for travel agents. I think some of these places you mentioned, like Sumba, Pulang, what's the other one you called again?
Rote.
Yeah, Rote, exactly. And even Komodo, I think this is something people maybe are looking for to get also outside of Bali. I think it is to venture a little bit on their own little adventures. And it's good to know for some of the travel agents here as well that you can do private boats. So if you have a family of 4 or 6 people or a group of friends traveling together, you can charter your own boat and do that trip to Komodo. So you don't need to be with, people might be, feel a little bit maybe insecure being with different kind of nationalities, maybe different people from different places, and try to keep on a more of private tours. And I think that's good with Destination Asia. You do private tours, so it's part of your, core product offerings is private tours. So people have the option to do private tours and keep it within their bubble, in Suosei.
That's
okay,
correct.
we got one question saying, when is the best time to travel to Bali? Best weather?
The best weather is basically from mid-June up to about mid-September.
Yeah.
It's cooler temperatures, interesting wise, because it's our winter basically, but therefore also much drier. And we have kind of a steady wind from the east that comes up from the big landmass of Australia in their winter. So it's cooling, and temperatures are normally not more than 29, 30, 31 degrees. And the humidity that we have, for example, right now in these months is then not much to feel. So it's very nice. And it hardly rains, to be honest.
Yeah. How would it be in our winter? Of course, we know that Scandinavian consumers travel mostly in the winter because we got,
The January is generally. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. The January is generally the month that we would see the most rain. And funny-wise, this season we have no tourists here, but it's been quite heavy on the rain. It has to do with El Niño. It's said that there is a rainy season from kind of beginning December up to possibly mid of March. But how that normally looks like is that you will have nice, brilliant, clear skies in the mornings, and then it kind of tropical builds up the clouds, and you will have heavy showers in the afternoon. It's very seldom that there are days where it rains fully through, but in January we had this for a certain few weeks, not continuously. And at the moment now, being February, since about the end of last week, it has already kind of changed to what I just said. So you will see some rain in the nights. The mornings are normally clear and nice, no rain, and then in the afternoon it will start again.
Okay. So it's still fairly okay weather. But of course, if you're looking to see the opening of Indonesia maybe coming out after summer, we're still looking at actually the high season in terms of the best weather.
Correct. Yeah. But there's nothing nicer to sit in a heavy rain shower in a pavilion and have a nice coffee or a tea, because it doesn't get as cold as it gets in Europe.
No, exactly. So it's good weather no matter what. Is there any other questions? I'm just saying that some of these, and for the record as well, for everybody, we have a few following us online, but for everybody else, so if you want to send it to some colleagues or friends, you're getting the replay of this one sent tomorrow. They always sent out 24 hours afterwards, so you will have the full copy of this one, and you can forward that link to anyone who wants to listen into it as well. So you can just share it with your colleagues or friends as well there. Anyone else having any questions before we end off? I think we managed to keep it on over 30 minutes. So very good, Andreas. I think that's one of the first time we managed to do that. So we're getting better and better.
I've done quite some webinars over the last year.
Exactly. So we're trying to do that. But I think that's all. And everybody who attended, it was really nice to see a few more people attending. And thank you very much. I saw a few friends as well on the attendee list. I saw Lena and Merete was there, and Magnar as well. Thank you very much. Maria saw and Walter. So it's really great to see you all joining us. And of course, we will have new ones coming up. We got the whole of Asia actually been covering the next 2 months, February and March. So next week, we are going to talk to Thailand again and hear about the updates there. So thank you very much, everybody. And have a good Wednesday.
Thank you from my side as well.
Yeah, and thank you, Andreas, for joining us.
Always.
Have a good afternoon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.